most disappointing shows to watch beginning to end. It had such a strong first episode with a couple of weak episodes, and then episode 5 was such a strong episode. I had so much faith and hope for this show, just for them to absolutely make a fool of themselves at the end of the show. I don't think I've ever seen a show that had so much potential and did absolutely nothing with it. When I saw the first 2 episodes of the show, I straight up said this has the potential to be the best show of the year, the best show in quite some time. It had some of the best alien xenomorph stuff that we've seen in the last 30 years. There was a lot going for this show early on in the season. Now granted, there were a few cracks in the show. Episode 2, there was a lot of plot armor. Some of the writing wasn't perfect, but I was willing to forgive a few blunders if the overall show was satisfying and worth watching. But after watching episode 8, realizing where the show was going and how season 1 ended, I don't think I can even recommend this show anymore. Episode 8 ended in such a cliffhanger. It was so stupid, it was cringe.
Now we rule.
And that was just piggybacking off of the terrible episode 7 and lackluster episode 6. I'm not going to review every single episode, but generally speaking, I think episode 1 and episode 5 are genuinely great television. I think episodes 3 and 4 are pretty dang good, and I think the rest kind of just fall flat. And honestly, episodes 7 and 8 not only do a disservice to the Alien franchise, but are legitimately bad TV. So one of the biggest flaws with this show is that it has really great ideas, especially in the Alien universe. I mean, the title alone, bringing an alien to Earth, great idea. I don't know how they haven't done this before. And they also introduced these new androids with these kids that are about to die. Their conscience is being uploaded to these new experimental androids. I think that's a great idea. I also think a cyborg, half android, half human, great idea. I also really love the new aliens in this show. It's not just a xenomorph. There's like this octopus alien, there's these bugs and this plant. All great stuff. The problem isn't the ideas, it's the execution of those ideas. They don't do anything interesting with the new aliens. Even when you think, okay, like the octopus, the eyeball's gonna go into human, we're gonna have a conversation between human and alien. You think they're gonna go there, they don't go there. The plant alien that's just sitting in the jail cell for 8 episodes. It kills one person and then does nothing else. And even the xenomorph, somehow they ruined the xenomorph in this show. I don't mind the xenomorph being shown in the daylight. I actually think it looks really cool and antagonizing. The problem is they turn the xenomorph into just like this pet dog that will do anything that you tell it to if you're one of the main characters. Wendy is literally controlling the xenomorph and it just makes it not scary at all. It's just so dumb that they would just ruin the xenomorph like this. Not only that, there are scenes where the xenomorph is just killing people like it's nothing, left and right, 4 or 5 people in a matter of seconds, and then when it's a main character, it just freezes or goes slow or locks up or has no idea how to kill someone even though you just saw it massacre a full room of people. This show ruins this version of the xenomorph. It just ruins it. And as far as all the android stuff, the ideas are cool. Putting these kids into android bodies. They don't really ask a lot of questions with that. There's 1 or 2 interesting ideas, but at the end of the day, they're still acting like kids, and they don't really explore the realm of these kids living forever or what is going to happen to their families or anything interesting. Although on the topic of androids, I do think Kirsch is still a badass character. Great line delivery. Timony Oliphant, if I'm saying your name wrong, I apologize. You are the only reason I kept watching this show towards the end. I think the performance of Kirsch and his little mischievous behind-the-scenes actions were the only thing keeping the show going towards the end. And another idea, they're talking about the 5 big companies, Yutani, Weyland, and how they're interacting. They barely even show it. There's one scene where the kid billionaire and the head of Yutani are like having a legal argument, but that's it. Nothing else about these companies are explored. It's very briefly mentioned here and there. If you're going to introduce these new ideas and new companies, but you're not going to do anything with it, what is the point of even introducing these ideas? Half of the show is just the writers throwing things at the wall, hoping they stick. And if they do stick, they don't go into any depth about them. I feel like the season 1 is just a test to what the people do and don't like, so that they can make season 2 based on what people liked. The problem is season 1 sucks so much, it has no viewers, they're not going to even get a season 2. And at this point, I don't even think I want to see a season 2. The show ended on such a dumb cliffhanger, I'm just not excited at all. Now I know I just trashed the show for a couple minutes. I do want to talk about the few good things this show has going for it. The first is the budget and cinematography and production design, all of that. Visually, the show looks amazing. Especially episode 1, I think they put most of their money in there. We've been at this point for years, but this show solidified it. TV shows look like movies. If not, they look better than movies. This looks just as good as any Alien movie ever has. I think the costume and the CGI for the xenomorph itself is impeccable, especially the production design. Episodes 1 and 5, when they're on that ship, looks so freaking good. They really nailed that part of the show. And the only other thing I will give this show good actual credit for is the acting. All of the kid android actors do a great job. They really get the kid in an adult's body feel. The main two characters, Wendy and Joe, are done very well. I've already said Kirsch is my favorite character, but I also really liked Morrow, played by Babu Sise. I think he did an excellent job. I didn't really care for the kid billionaire, and I didn't really care for a couple of other characters, but generally speaking, the acting was done quite well, and that says a lot given the shitty script they got. So overall, it is hard for me to rank this show, considering that the highs are high, but it ends in such a whimper. I do think I'm going to give Alien Earth just painfully average. It is right in the middle. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. The ideas they introduce are really good ideas. Very interesting. The acting is very well done, and the cinematography and set design is impeccable. But the writing is terrible. There is no payoff to the ideas that they're introduced, and some of the decisions that the writers made is actually stupid. And it ends in one of the cringiest ending lines I've ever seen in a show.
Now we rule.
And it makes me not excited for season 2 at all, if they even get season 2. So if you watched and finished Alien Earth, what'd you think of it down below? Were you as disappointed as I was? Whatever you thought, let me know. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to. See you next time.